Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into something truly special. We're going to unpack a captivating cultural folktale from Kabupaten and Ende in Indonesia. It's this incredible story that bridges ancient tragedy with modern tradition, and honestly, it might just deeply change how you think about the origins of your food and our connection to the natural world.
Think about this for a second. What if the very food you literally rely on to survive was born from a heartbreaking sacrifice? By exploring the deep roots of the Nida people, we're going to uncover a powerful legend that doesn't just explain their history, but fundamentally defines how they survive today as a community.
Part 1, The Peaceful Land of Nida.
Okay, to really grasp the immense weight of this story, we first have to set the scene. Imagine the idyllic life of two orphaned siblings, Bobi and Nombi, and their kind-hearted widowed mother, Ndoi. Their lives in Dustin Nuamori were entirely defined by harmony. Ndoi didn't have much wealth, but she raised these kids with so much love. Bobi and Nombi grew up helping out with chores, really soaking in core values like kindness, respect, and hard work. And their broader community, they lived beautifully in sync with the fertile land, relying on rich soil for abundant harvests. Life was simple, incredibly secure, and celebrated with immense joy.
But moving on to Part 2, The Devastating Leo Drought.
As we often see in history, environmental harmony can be incredibly fragile. Almost overnight, things changed. A severe drought struck the Leo region, completely upending their peaceful existence. Picture this stark contrast. On one hand, you had the lush, fertile Nida with its joyful harvests. And then suddenly, cracked, barren fields, withered crops, scarce food. It was a terrifying overnight shift from total security to desperate survival, with fear spreading rapidly through the villages. Let's track how this environmental collapse actually happened, because it was rapid and merciless. First, over a few months, absolutely no rain fell. Then, within weeks, the rivers, the absolute lifeblood of the community, dried up completely. Fast forward a few days, and the fields literally cracked wide open under the scorching sun. Within hours, whatever crops were left withered away before they could even be harvested. Which brings us to the terrifying present state for the people of Nida, a severe famine and uncontrollable panic. Now, what happens when people are in absolute panic? They search for a scapegoat. They needed a reason for this unprecedented disaster. Soon enough, these tragic, baseless rumors started going around, claiming the drought was caused by a violation of customary beliefs that had angered nature and their ancestors. And, unfortunately, these accusations landed squarely on the completely innocent siblings Bobi and Nombi. Even without a single shred of proof, blind fear drove the narrative and people started to believe it.
Which leads us to Part 3, A Heartbreaking Ultimate Sacrifice.
As the crisis worsened and families struggled just to survive, the tribal elders gathered. Heavily influenced by their ancient beliefs, they made a devastating decision. A sacrifice was necessary to save the community. You can imagine Nombi's sheer terror and confusion as they came to take them away. Looking at her brother with tears in her eyes, she asked, "Are we going to be punished even though we are innocent?" That trembling voice perfectly captures the absolute helplessness of being targeted by a terrified community desperate to bring back the rain. But right next to her immense fear, we see Bobby's unbelievable courage. Holding his sister's hand tightly, showing deep, genuine concern for the very people condemning them, he said, "Whatever happens, we must accept it with a strong heart. If our sacrifice can help many people, then let it become a blessing for them." I mean, wow. He bravely chose to see their unjust fate as a potential blessing for others. It is a profoundly selfless response.
And that brings us to Part 4, Birth of the Rice Mother. Tragically, the sacrifice was carried out, leaving the people of Nida mourning the loss of two innocent lives. But here is where the story takes a miraculous turn. Not long after, from the exact dry, barren soil where the siblings were laid to rest, a resilient little green plant began to emerge. The villagers watched in sheer amazement as it flourished despite the harsh conditions, producing edible grains. We define this miraculous plant as Ine Pare, the mother of rice. According to the legend passed down through the generations, Nombi's spirit looked at this miracle in awe, and Bobi smiled, saying, "This plant will become a source of life for our people. They will call it Ine Pare." And it absolutely did. The plant spread like wildfire throughout the region. It provided vital food for the hungry community, brought hope back, and effectively saved them from the famine.
Part 5, A Living Cultural Legacy.
Here's the crucial takeaway. This story didn't just stay in the past. As the people of Nida harvested and ate this rice, they realized it had become the absolute foundation of their survival. Their sorrow gradually transformed into a deep, enduring gratitude. Generation after generation, parents shared this story so the sacrifice would never be forgotten. It firmly established core values like selflessness, compassion, gratitude, respect for life, and living in harmony with nature. It serves as a continuous reminder that every single blessing comes with immense responsibility to the world around us.
And you know what? Today, the community still actively applies these values through traditional ceremonies, most notably the Nggua Bapu ritual. Through this, they explicitly express gratitude for the harvest and honor the enduring sacrifice that brought rice into their lives. This proves that the story of Bobi and Nombi isn't just some old myth. It's a vital, living cultural heritage that actively governs modern life and community values in Nida.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative thought to chew on. How does our own modern society view the sacrifices made by nature to provide the food on our tables? For the Ndina community, their food is way more than just sustenance. It's a sacred gift deeply connected to love, sacrifice, and an enduring bond with the earth. It kind of makes you wonder how differently we might treat our own world if we took a second to acknowledge the unseen sacrifices behind every meal we eat. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring the stories behind the world around you.